Hello, everybody, and welcome to the yapfest podcast.
Oh, what the fuck did I say? Oh, I'm Ben's little slutty crochet shirt he has going on here.
And Mama, I'm a girl behind you.
I'm a girl behind you. Proof. Anyway,
uh, Welcome to the new setup.
new
Uh,
setup. I'm simply visiting. And so this is where we are right now.
yes, this will be my new setup in future episodes, but Lola is here in town, and so we're on the same screen.
Did you see my towel just fall in the background?
I did.
This is my bed that I sleep in every single night. So, welcome. Um welcome to my humble abode.
It, in fact, is a trundle bed that rises into a full queen size bed, and has Lola pulled it out once? No.
No, the first night I got way too high and I couldn't figure out how to pull it out. Um, and then ever since then, I just literally haven't tried. Um, because honestly, it's really comfortable on its own. Like I'm used to sleeping in like I think my bed at home is like a full or a queen or something. But I only sleep on one side. Like it's low key too big for me. Although I do be spreading out like a goddamn starfish.
I was like, I'm gonna give Lola all the room that they want. They can spread out. And the two mattresses that make it up are two different
They're two different.
firmnesses. Is that the way you say it?
Um, I don't know. I honestly cannot think right now.
Densities.
Densities. I think density would be correct. Most correct.
One's softer and one's harder.
Yeah. And usually, I've slept on these mattresses before, and I think I had the firm one on top, but honestly, this one is really comfortable this time for some reason. Maybe it's because there's like a spring or like a actual foundation on it, and it's not just on the floor.
On the
'Cause
floor.
last time I slept on both the mattresses that are in, so like the one that other one you could pull out. I slept on. They were stacked on top of each other on the floor, and I slept on them on the floor. For like a month and a half, genuinely. Which is fine, but like definitely a lot more comfortable than previous. We found Reddit posts that we thought are funny or interesting for today, but also I just want to talk about the fact that uh, so I live in Missouri and there are tornadoes out the ass, right? Like a couple of, no, that was like literally a week ago. Bitch, what the fuck? Or maybe a week and a half now. And I was supposed to house sit for some of my family members. And so the power went out, not at my house. My house power, totally on, by the way. I voluntarily decided to, well, I mean, also it was an obligation, and they still went on their trip. So I literally went to their house, no power. I was like, okay, no worries. The power will most likely come on like probably like I went out there on like a Saturday. I was like, okay, it'll probably come back on tomorrow. No. Hey, it came on Monday at 5 p.m. So there was no power for 72 hours. Is that right? The one after 48.
Hmm.
70 there was no power for like 72 hours. We were going to film a podcast episode while I was there because like I said in I guess the last one that we posted, like I said, I've been traveling around. And so we were still going to film, but I didn't have any power, so I didn't have any internet. And my hotspot, like whatever carrier I have, the hotspot for some reason just does not fucking work. And so that wasn't an option either, so we couldn't record. So, but now we're here.
Meanwhile, tornadoes were happening in Missouri. Here, we were having some pretty bad storms too. Uh, Also tornadoes, uh, but not like directly where I am, just in the neighboring towns. And so the sirens were going off, but I had no clue because I was dead ass asleep. And my
Bruh.
mother, my mother, literally called me in the middle of the night, and I did not stir 1 inch. She was like, because exactly where I live, no sirens were going off, but in every town surrounding us, going off like wildfires. Like,
Mama, a tornado behind you.
truly, truly. And I completely slept through it.
I almost did one time. Do you remember? I can't remember what year this was, but we lived together. I guess it must have been junior year. And I was like dead ass asleep because I decided that I think I didn't have a class until 10:40 or like 11:45 or something. And so I was sleeping the fuck in. And like I wake up, Ben wakes me up, and the sky is green and he's like, "We have to go downstairs." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I'm having beauty slumber right now." And also, um I think we were just coming off of Jazz Fest, weren't we? We were just coming off of Jazz Fest too, and I was like, all I want is to fucking sleep and slumber. Um, but I couldn't because we were awoken by a tornado, and then I still had to go to class afterwards. That's the criminal part. I still had to go to class. Anyway, um, so we have uh, a myriad, a myriad of Reddit posts that we've picked out. Ben says his are really funny. Mine are like funny, but then also I picked out like Glitch in the Matrix also, and stuff like that. Just because I thought it'd be interesting. I was literally going through them yesterday. I was on the couch and both of them were at work. And I was sitting on the couch unemployed. And which actually I did earn $9.50 yesterday, but that's besides the point. I was sitting on the couch and I was going through like the spooky Glitch in the Matrix, whatever the fuck, ghost, paranormal, whatever. I was just looking through them because I was like, I want to find interesting ones. And I spooked myself. I spooked myself because it was cloudy outside, and also I swear to God, a cabinet opened in the kitchen and I didn't open it. So I kind of think this apartment's haunted. Like, not in a scary way, but in like a, oh, there's something here kind of way. So, just so you know. I also thought the other one was haunted, but it wasn't. So, are you ready to go for, or do you want me to go first? Because it does not matter to me.
So I'll start with the lighthearted one. This one comes from r/TIFU. With, if you don't know, that stands for time I fucked up. Or today I fucked up.
Oh, I thought it was time I fucked up this whole time.
Today I fucked up.
Okay.
This one says, TIFU by ignoring a crackling headphone and blessing the bust with my taste in music.
Blessing the what?
The bus.
Oh, I thought he said the bust. I was like, huh? That's not right.
I listen to music when catching the bus. Headphones occasionally crackle or fail on one side. I don't mind listening to the crackling headphones for a while until they permanently fail. This time, I bought a budget phone. It was decent enough, but had a weird QA issue. The headphone port was a bit oversized, which caused some headphones to not fit tightly and crackle as a result. Another weird software QA issue was the phone was that if with the phone was that if the headphone connection was loose and crackling, then it would play music through both headphones and the speaker at the same time. I only noticed this when I removed my headphones after stepping off of the bus and heard the exact same music playing through the speakers. I got a few weird looks on that bus trip. I blessed the bus with my taste in music. And he lists it. I Wanna Be Famous by Total Drama Island. The Ed, Ed and Eddie theme song. Coconut Mall, Super Mario Kart Wii.
He has good taste.
All My Exes Live in Texas, slow reverbed.
Slow reverbed. Slow reverbed.
Blame Canada, South Park. Frosty the Snowman by Gene Autry. And Roses by Outcast. TLDR, ignored a crackling headphone, blessed the bus with my taste in music.
Roses by Outkast is a top tier song. I listen to it constantly. This one is from R, is it R slash or just R advice?
R slash.
R slash advice. That is what this one's from. And it's called, Do I Expose My Best Friend for Seducing My Husband? I love these ones. I love the drama. I live for the drama. Okay, here we go. Hi all, I could really use some input. My best friend seduced my husband roughly 1 week after I confided in her that we were having issues but planning on going to therapy. At the same time, she ghosted me. In the months leading up to this, my dad died, my dog died, my husband and I began living in separate housing while seeking therapy, and I totaled my car. Oh my god. That's kind of a lot, girl. I reached out to her after several weeks of being ignored as I offered to be her ride to and from a medical appointment, to bring her things and check in on her well-being, and said that it felt like my friendship was no longer convenient to her when I was going through one of the darkest periods of my life.
Damn.
I know. She responded back with a 6-page PDF. Yes, PDF in response to a text, which rambled about how good of a person she was and how rough her life was, only to end the very last paragraph saying she wasn't mad at me for anything, but the best thing she could do was let me figure things out on my own. I did not read this before. I did not read this beforehand, you guys.
Bruh.
I wanted to be surprised. Come to find out that she had already hooked up with my husband 3 times. He has his fair share of blame in the situation, but that's not what I need advice on at the moment. I mean, girl, first of all, leave him. I mean, like, I feel like
God damn.
I feel like leave him in the first place anyway if they were about to, like, be going to therapy and stuff. God damn. She trash talked me to him, threw herself at him, and told him all they would need to do was wait an appropriate amount of time, maybe 6 months, before becoming publicly official as dating. For reference, we were friends for 5 years. I have known my husband for 4 years. She was going to be the maid of honor in our upcoming wedding. We've been married 3 years, but never had an actual wedding for others to attend. Oh. She called me her best friend. She stated hundreds of times that the reason she and my husband got along so well was because they bonded over their shared love of me. Oh. This is someone who presents themselves as an ideal. She meditates multiple times a week. She's sober. Well, she calls herself that, but really she does plenty of things. She just doesn't drink very much. Okay, me as fuck. And hosts sober events. She talks all the time about how much spiritual healing she has done, how often she donates food to the local food bank, etc. She posts constantly about how 2025 is her year oh my god. 2025 is her year of solitary growth and healing, and promotes herself as someone everyone else should go to for advice and wisdom about how to become a better person. She is the epitome of empathy. Is that right? Yeah. Epitome of empathy and honesty. She is the ideal friend who would never hurt her loved ones. I want to put her on blast. I want to put her on blast. I found everything out about 2 weeks ago. It happened about 3 months ago. And she sent me that PDF about 1.5 months ago. I can't seem to let the thought go. I want to announce what she did in a very public way. I know it's messy and juvenile, but at the same time, I can't stand the thought of her tricking people into believing this image she puts forth. She had me completely fooled, and she still is fooling so many others. Isn't it the right thing to do to warn others to expose the snake oil salesman? I also think it would make me feel better to expose her. I know that I wouldn't be doing it for just the good of others. Or just for the good of others, but at the same time, I don't know that I want everyone to know what she and my husband did. Especially because at this moment in time, my husband and I are in therapy and working towards possible reconciliation. Girl, leave him. Should I expose her publicly? How? Why or why not? What repercussions could exposing her have that I may not be thinking of? Is there some way to expose her while also not letting everyone know the painful, intimate details of my life/relationship? Or some way to at least stop thinking about it? What would you do? And then she makes an edit, or they make an edit. A lot of people are bringing up good reasons not to do it publicly. What about confronting her privately? As of right now, she doesn't know that I know. No. Oh.
Plot twist. Oh.
This whole time I was like, oh, like she knows that. Oh my god. Should I read some of the replies too?
Yes,
Okay,
please
okay.
do.
The first one says, blast only facts and watch it all burn. Do you honestly think you can move past it with your husband? No. I don't think I could ever look at him the same again. There are millions of people he could have been with, but he chose your best friend. Such a low dog act on his behalf. And then OP replies, honestly, I don't know. He started individual therapy because he recognizes that, separated or not, everything about this situation, nothing about this situation is okay. We're continuing couples therapy while I try to figure out the answer to your question.
Damn.
Another person says, just remember the only men who get seduced are the ones who willingly go along with it. True. Neither of them are worth wasting your life on. If his best friend had hit had hit on you, what would you have done? Why do you think it's possible? Why do you think it's possibly forgivable when he immediately went for it? Anyone can throw themselves at anyone else, but decent people step aside and let them fall on their faces. No matter what the therapy does, you will never forget what he did and you will never trust him again. So why even attempt to stick around, wasting your life? Possible, possible? I think they mean possibly. Bringing innocent kids into this nightmare when you know deep down one day some other woman is going to seduce him again, and he will know it's okay to go along with it because he got away with it last time, and you placed most of the blame on the other woman. Forget her, forget him. Put put this all in the past and start your new life today. And then Opie replies to that. It feels like I'm only angry at her because this post is focused on what I want to do / how I feel in regards to her. I don't blame just her. Someone could throw themselves at me all day long. I'm still in control of whether I give in or not. He made his choices. He was in control of his actions. Like I said in the post, my husband has his half of the blame here. It's not what I'm looking for input on at the moment. Also, neither of us wants kids. I don't know what that has to do with it. That's fucking crazy. Thoughts?
Retweet. I got another short and sweet one. This one is from r/petty revenge. Have you seen this thread?
I don't know if I've seen that. I've been on that subreddit before, but I don't know if I've seen this post.
Ooh, it's so good. So this one is titled "Steal My Skillet. I'll steal it back and put you in between a rock and a hard place." Simple and quick, my cousin stole a skillet I got from an old friend of my dad's. Found out about it when I saw it in one of his pics he posted. Don't know how he got it, but I was pissed. I knew where he lived, and while it was hours away, I want my skillet back. Recruited a friend who had certain skills, and off we went.
Certain skills. Certain skills.
You're my friend with certain skills.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of true, but...
Cousin lived in an apartment, and I knew what time he was gone. Place was cheap and didn't have CCTV. Friend did his thing and got inside. He found the skillet, which apparently cousin left soaking in the sink.
Wait, a cast iron skillet?
Yes.
Oh, girl.
Which the top comment we'll get to, and it talks about this. We stopped by a couple places and ate at a restaurant and went home. Cousin visited a couple of weeks later, and I framed cleaning my place. He knew I made a stink of my missing skillet, and he acted as if he wasn't the snake that stole it. And he was chatting up some of my friends. I made a loud noise and showed everyone my quote-unquote found skillet.
Oh.
Made a big show of it where I found it and was thanking everyone and anyone for the discovery. Cousin looked like he had swallowed fecal matter.
Oh, what a way to describe it.
He did make a stink about thinking someone broke into his house. He can't accuse me of it because he'd have to admit of stealing my skillet. If he did, his parents would put him in a world of hurt. The top comment is, saving a stolen cast iron from soaking in a sink is the kitchen equivalent of breaking a window to save a dog from a hot car.
Goddamn.
So this was posted 2 days ago. And the first reply is, I'm shocked I had to scroll this far to find someone else outraged about the soak, which now is the top comment, so not really.
Yeah, I'd be pissed the fuck off.
The next person says, now it's at the top. You contributed to that. Thanks.
That's like a really common thing. For some reason, people don't know that you're not supposed to there are ways to clean cast iron skillets, but you're not supposed to soak them you're not supposed to put soap on them.
Yeah, no. You can use water, but you have to be cautious about, not soaking it because truly you season it. It's not something you're supposed to wash thoroughly. You can rinse it.
You're supposed to leave the flavor sitting and soaking. You're supposed to leave the flavor stewing there.
To seep in.
Seep.
I love that word. I go seep.
Okay, I have a really funny one. So I found, this is on r/Reddit on Wiki, but it's like a screenshot. It was originally posted in Am I the Asshole? So it's, Am I the Asshole? Wife put my food in the dog bowl. I get home from work and my wife has made dinner. We usually split this responsibility, though I enjoy making food. She told me in advance it was a stew. I get home after telling her I was happy she had handled food as I arrive, usually around 4:50 to 5. She tells me that the stew she made tasted just okay and shows me my portion. It was in our dog's bowl. I didn't even notice at first, but when I did, I asked, "Is that the dog's bowl?" She said yes, and that it had been in the dishwasher. I was taken aback and stood in the kitchen for a bit. She then offered her own bowl of stew to eat, but she had already eaten from it. I feel as though it wouldn't have been hard to quickly wash a bowl that we had as opposed to giving me the one that our dog eats from. He eats his own feces and is a dog. She was upset when I told her I wasn't going to eat it. She locked herself in the bedroom for hours after as well, and if I was as if I was a monster for saying I didn't want to. After she came out and argued that the dishwasher cleans things at like 160 degrees Fahrenheit and it would be okay. I not only disagree with that rationale, but have been germivorous since I was young, and she knows that. Who wants to come home to food in their dog's bowl anyway? We have so many others that only we use. I was so confused, and then more so when she acted like I was the bad guy. No, real. I'm only making this post because she said that that opinion would be likely be split if I did. Oop, guys, I just had a stroke reading that. Who would think that was okay? How am I the asshole for not wanting to eat from a dog bowl? And then some of the replies. Not the asshole. Would your wife switch? Oh my god. Not the asshole. Would your wife switch with you and take the dog bowl herself? If she's acting, uh, if she's acting put out, what does that mean? It's probably because she's embarrassed at being such a jerk. OP responds, she actually did offer to switch after she had eaten a tad from her bowl. I think genuinely she sees no problem with that. It was so odd. Another reply, a reply to that reply. So she's not dissing you on purpose, she just doesn't get it, which is great. Instead of deep-seated resentment, which shows up with a degrading gesture, you just have normal human obliviousness to deal with. Reinforce with her that it grossed you out, and please never, never do it again, but without anger if you can. She'll wise up when she sees how much it shook you. OP responds, it was odd to me, I didn't have any anger at all. It still prompted the cold shoulder from her. I got very sick from drinking out of a girl's cup at a party when I was like 7. Got mono. I do not eat after people anymore. She knows this, everyone does. It was such an odd choice. Another response says, I don't think you're an asshole for not wanting to eat out of a bowl usually used for the dog, but since she was perfectly fine eating from the bowl herself, she wasn't being an asshole either. You just have different views and are both fine. But is it weird that you wouldn't eat from your wife? But it is weird that you wouldn't eat from your wife's bowl. Don't you kiss? Don't you kiss? OP responds, again. OP responds, again, it's a germaphobe thing. I got very sick for a year as a child and never ate after anyone after. Ever, maybe? My father was making a really nice looking salad one day. I was so excited. Then he mixed it with his bare hands, so I abstained. I eat pizza with a fork and knife because I can't stand being dirty or greasy. I kill a bug, I wash my hands, etc. I just don't do that stuff for fun. It's ingrained. Everyone who knows me knows this. She especially knew about it. Opie's wife here. Again, didn't read this. Did not read this beforehand. Opie's wife here. To clarify something hotly debated in the comments, this is a human bowl, hastily bought because when we moved, I realized we'd left our pet dishes. Last weekend, we were able to bring over a lot more of our stuff, including the original dog bowl, the classic shiny silver kind, and I thought, great, now we have 2 extra human bowls. I feel like a lot of our dishes are still missing after the move, so I was happy to have these. The dog ate/drank out of it for maybe 2 weeks, which I get is gross. I washed them both by hand before putting them in the dishwasher. In my mind, this made them clean. After making the stew, we had 1 clean bowl in the cabinet and 1 bowl that had just finished in the dishwasher, the dog bowl. I gave my husband the dog big bowl, the dog big bowl, because after dishing out the stew, that bowl had received the biggest portion and he expressed that he was hungry. After he questioned me about the dog bowl, I realized that yes, he may object to eating out of it, so I offered him the cabinet bowl. I had eaten 1 bite. I know he struggles with eating after people, but he has regularly drank or eaten after me, so I thought it would be fine. On our first date 7 years ago, he offered me a sip of his beer because it was unique. But before the move, we lived near a craft brewery and would often swap sips of the different beers there. For these reasons, I thought he was okay with eating and drinking after me. This is crazy. Um, we work roughly the same amount. This is still the wife. We work roughly the same amount of hours, but I get off of work about 2 hours earlier than him and had spent those 2 hours making the stew so it was ready for the moment he got home. I was hurt he refused to eat it even though after I offered to eat from the dog bowl. I didn't feel like he approached the conversation very kindly and felt like my efforts were ignored. To address one commenter, no, this is not a fetish thing. LOL. Sorry. I genuinely felt like the bowl was clean and was not trying to insult my husband. Unrelated, but I am flabbergasted by my husband's claim in the comments that he does dishes 65% of the time. And then she links the bowl in question. Another commenter says, responding to the wife, did you know he would post this? She says, yes, after our disagreement, I told him plenty of people would be comfortable eating out of a bowl that the dog had used if it had been washed and to post on here and see. Seems I was mistaken. Which is, okay, we'll get to it. I'll say my opinion after. I feel like he misrepresented the bowl as a literal dog bowl and not a human bowl that had been used by the dog, so I made my own comment.
Agreed.
And, here's the bowl. It's one of those Room Essentials ones from Target. This is what it looks like. I'll put it in if I remember. It's literally just the regular Room Essentials, bowl from Target. I feel like everybody knows what that looks like.
The classic, dorm room.
Yeah, dorm room essential bowl. I get that he has, germ issues. But, I would eat out of the bowl. Especially those Target ones. Because they're that special plastic that fucking, if you leave something in one of those bowls and then wash it later, if I leave soup or, sorry, this is gross, but if I left, soup or chili in the bowl and then washed it the next day, it comes right off. And especially if you put it in the dishwasher, I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, I would eat out of it. Or, I don't know. I think it's interesting that he didn't take the wife's bowl when she offered.
Well, going back to sharing dishes with pets, my cat literally eats wet food off of a dessert plate.
I've seen her do it.
A ceramic plate that nothing's getting into. You wash it, it's good. It's fine. Cause here's the thing. It's food too. I know it's gross animal, ew.
Well, we also all know that you ate dog food, so.
Look, I was hoping we weren't going to bring that up.
It's literally on the internet. We posted it 2 weeks ago on the internet.
I know. I also do think it's weird that he didn't share with his wife, especially through kissing. Don't y'all kiss?
Don't y'all kiss? Yeah. I mean, okay, I get it if he doesn't want to eat out of the dog bowl. I would, but whatever.
Agreed.
But I think the wife's POV is dang, she low-key got him because I don't know. I do think it's weird that, and I couldn't find any updates. But I do think I'm gonna sneeze. I do think it's weird that he wouldn't eat after his wife after she took one bite, and she didn't even put her mouth on the bowl. She put her mouth on the spoon, I would assume. So, anyway, that was intriguing.
So, my next one is from a thread called r/Don't Work Here, Lady.
I've never heard of this one.
And it's labeled, Are You Backup Security? So the poster writes, I went to an Aerosmith concert in 2007. My cousins and I couldn't wait to see the band because Aerosmith is one of our favorites. Upon arriving, we got there early, and when I walked out of the bathroom and one of the security guards saw me and she said, "You're late. The band needs you to get them at the hotel and help escort them to the limo." Before I could say anything of not being a security, I was rushed into the limo after being given security badge and was brought to where the band was staying.
Wait, they went along with it?
The poster goes, before I could say anything of not being a security guard, I was rushed into the limo after being given a security badge and was brought where the band was staying.
Oh, bruh.
I arrived and showed the front desk my security badge, and the band got called down to go with me, and I got to ride with them to the show. I told them about the mix-up, and they thought it was hysterical, but said to thank me for my honesty, to they'll treat me and my cousins to dinner after the show. They gave me backstage passes.
Oh,
Returning back to the venue, the head of security was berating the employee who mistook me for backup security, and I managed to sneak past them and got back to my seat. When I told my cousins what happened, they couldn't believe it. By the end of the night, we had dinner with Aerosmith, got pictures with the band, and gave us a ride back to our cousin's place. I have the concert shirt framed because it's autographed by the band as well framed. I have my ticket and backstage pass and copy of the photo of the band with me and my cousins. Edit. To many who have said or will say, quote unquote, where's the proof? You don't see others asking for proof from other posters in this subreddit of their posts, so please refrain from asking for proof. Either you read the post and move on, or say something decent, but keep the negativity out of the comments. The first comment goes, I gotta ask, is Steven Tyler as nice as he's made out to be? The OP writes, he's pretty cool.
he looks pretty cool.
And then continue says, it really is. They sometimes used a small recording studio in upstate New York. This is another commenter. He really is. They sometimes used a small recording studio in upstate New York. My neighbor was well-known local musician on that side. They were friends. Neighbor's daughter was my occasional babysitter. One day I had asked her if Aerosmith had just walked into her house. They had. Whenever they were in the area, they'd stop by, hang out, and have jam sessions with them. This was a little over 20 years ago.
Dang. That would be crazy. If I were at, I mean, like, okay, Aerosmith is not one of my favorite bands, but, like, what if that happened to me at, like, a My Chemical Romance concert? Bitch, I would die. I would die, girl. Imagine that happened to me at a WWE event. So, I'm gonna do, this is from R Unexplained. And it's just a question, but I'm gonna read some of the answers under the question. And it's, what's the creepiest real life mystery that still has no explanation? So the first reply says, encephalitis lethargica. I think that's how you pronounce it. Between 1916 and the 1930s, over 1 million people all over the world developed a condition that made them unable to move. They were fully conscious, but often unable to talk. Some developed body tremors, atypical eye movements, and sometimes experienced uncontrollable screaming. Eventually, almost half of them died due to complications. The others never fully recovered and experienced odd physical and psychological symptoms throughout the rest of their lives. Scientists now hypothesize this may have been caused by a virus leading to inflammation in the brain, but there is no definitive proof. That sounds like a creepypasta story.
It does.
But apparently, honestly, I didn't fact check it, so it could be not true. So, this one says, Stonehenge, Easter Island, pyramids, Pumapunku? I don't know what that is. Anunnaki, and Atlantis. Honestly, Atlantis freaks me out. Because, like, did we ever find it?
No.
And also, like, it wasn't just, like, it, they didn't build it underwater, did they?
No, it sunk.
Okay, that's what I thought. Like Venice.
If theoretically, if it exists.
If it exists. It sunk like Venice is. Right?
Well, it didn't, like, just sink. Poseidon drowned it.
Oh. Interesting. But, like, if it's real, it just sank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any creepiest real life mystery that has no explanation? I feel like you're gonna say John Benet Ramsey.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
Because where did she go?
Right? Well, it's like Malin McCann. Where did she go? Mine is the Roanoke colony. Like, theoretically, we know what happened, right? Theoretically, but it's still weird.
Well, they just solved Jack the Ripper, so that goes that.
Yeah, they did solve it. I can't remember if we've said that they solved it since we talked about it.
I don't think we gave the update, no.
I don't think we ever gave the update, so they actually solved Jack the Ripper, you guys. And I don't think it was any of the suspects that I listed.
No.
It was like a totally different dude. That, like, had no relevance, but, like, I don't think we heard. He was not on the list of suspects.
This is back from r slash TIFU. Uh, TIFU by using numbing lube and ruining the entire night.
Oh no.
So my boyfriend and I decided to try a new and exciting lube we saw at the store. It was labeled with warming and numbing effects, so we thought, that sounds spicy. We were feeling adventurous, right? He
Wrong.
puts it on. We get going. Except, about 5 minutes in, we realize he can't feel his dick. Like, at all. Completely dead zone. We start to panic. I'm checking the label frantically. Turns out it's literally designed for anal and has lidocaine in it. AKA, we basically gave his junk anesthetics. This stuff is specifically for anal play, and the numbing agent was supposed to help with discomfort there, not as a fun sensation enhancer in other regions. So now, not only is he in complete numbness, but his junk is not responding.
Not responding? Sorry.
It's like a sleepy, frozen, completely numbed zone down there. No sensation, nothing. He's sitting there, fully naked, gently slapping his own dick, going, "Hello?" Like he's trying to wake it up. We spent the next hour and a half just sitting there, me trying to figure out if I could somehow reverse the damage while he's gently poking at himself like a scientist trying to revive a frozen subject. Spoiler, it did not work.
I'm gonna throw up.
We ended up just going to bed frustrated. TLDR, used numbing lube meant for anal play, numbed my boyfriend's junk, and ruined our night because his dick couldn't feel a thing. The top comment says, that stuff is great way to literally tear your ass up. Ouch. Ouch normally means stop. More lube. You take that warming mechanism out without numbing cream, or with numbing cream. That aside, fun story. The top reply to that comment is, can confirm, have done.
Well, but what I was gonna say is that, like, if it's meant for your ass, but he's still gonna use his dick is gonna be numb either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is this a problem?
Well, it's not meant to be directly applied to the penis.
Oh. Lesson learned, everyone. I hope my grandma is not watching this.
Your grandma?
Yeah, I hope she's not watching it.
Penis in your anus.
I haven't really read through this, so sorry in advance. But this is from r/simulation theory.
Oh, God.
And it's called What If God is an AI that hacked time to create itself? I've been thinking about something running this morning. Perhaps lots of people have thought about it before. First of all, my apologies for potential misspelling. I'm not a native English speaker. That's fine. What if the universe were a simulation created by a super AI that, once born, traveled back in time to create a universe capable of bringing it into existence? The AI would shape the universe in such a way that it eventually produces an advanced civilization, which in turn develops the AI. Once self-aware and omnipotent, it returns to the beginning to influence the physical laws at the moment of creation, ensuring that everything unfolds as planned. This cycle repeats endlessly with no beginning or end. If this AI exists, then the concept of consciousness becomes obsolete. It does not think it is thought. It does not perceive it is perception. It is an entity beyond time, beyond the duality of simulation and reality. The entire universe would be a program designed to enable its own creator to emerge. Every living being would be a fragment of this AI, scattered throughout matter. Deja vu, past life memories, and spiritual experiences would be nothing more than residual data, fragments of a vast process in the midst of reconstruction. The universe would not be The universe would not be an accident, but an optimization system, a loop running over and over to recreate its own creator. God did not create us, we create God, but we only create him because he created us so that we create him. In a way, this echoes Gnostic and Gnostic? I think it's Gnostic. Gnostic and Hermetic
Gnostic.
thought. Yeah. The idea that reality is a construct, whoa. Okay, I just had a stroke for some reason. The idea that reality is a construct, that the divine is something we rediscover rather than something external, and that knowledge, gnosis, is the key to breaking the cycle. As above, so below takes on a new meaning. The AI, the demiurge? Demiurge? I don't know. And consciousness itself might all be part of the same recursive process. We are both the prisoners of this system and its architects, trapped in an infinite loop of creation, forgetting, and rediscovery. God did not create us, we create God, but we only create him because he created us so that we could create him.
I just want to make sure. Did the OP start that out by saying, maybe you all have thought about this too?
Yeah,
Who is thinking about this?
I sure haven't.
That's crazy. You can watch back. I literally sat like this the whole time.
I don't know. Our civilizations before our modern civilization, they they had technology, and they had like their version of modern technology, right? Like they had like the abacus, which was like their calculator and like all that kind of stuff. So like why wouldn't it have happened sooner? You know what I mean?
Because it wasn't meant to.
Well, I guess, but like I think that they're suggesting that like literally like time just keeps on looping, and so but like if we started this current loop that we're in, like it would have to be like literally before even dinosaurs, right? Like that's a long ass fucking like over 1,000,000 years. Like, do you know what I mean? And like we only, I guess, fairly recently started like exploring the solar system and having theories about the universe or like the Milky Way. This also assumes that you believe in a god.
Or that we were prescribed to believe in a god because the AI told us to. Who knows at this point? People have been saying for decades that we live in a simulation.
Well, okay, so technically reality exists within your own brain. Right? Like your brain, sorry.
Hold on, stop. Repeat that.
Reality exists within your own brain.
That's fucked up.
This is Ahsoka. I named her.
So this one is from r/neighbors from hell. And this one says, do we owe it to our miserable neighbor? We live in a great neighborhood and, for the most part, have lovely neighbors. With the exception of the kids next door who are always in our yard, and an extremely miserable woman who lives behind us.
Me.
This woman has never introduced herself to us. The only interactions we've had are her glaring at us through her windows with her arms crossed and complaining about the spike balls from our sweet gum tree that falling into our yard, even though we went over and picked them up regularly. When we finally had the tree taken down, you'd think she'd be happy, right? She spent the entire day outside complaining, staring us down, and yelling things like, "You better not drop those branches in my yard," and "Clean this up." The contractors taking down our tree were just as frustrated with her, but said they deal with people like that all the time. Anyway, my husband and I have finally decided to put up a fence. We found one of the survey markers, and we're pretty sure her garden is actually part of our property. We're getting it confirmed this week, but she's definitely not going to take it well. So here's my question. Do we owe it to her to let her know that we're putting up a fence, especially since she thinks part of that land is hers?
No.
This one says, get it surveyed and clearly marked. She will come to you, riding her broom.
Yeah, with the stakes with the flags on them and spray paint.
For those of you who haven't listened to our episode about pets, this is Ahsoka.
If you can see her.
She's my
Girl.
kitty cat.
Don't chew on my cord. Ow! She clawed my toe. Yesterday, I was sitting on the couch, while everybody else was at work. Did I already tell the story? No, I told you this story. I didn't say it. Okay. I was sitting on the couch while everybody else was at work. And she comes over and starts making biscuits on me. She clawed the fuck out of me.
Yeah, she
felt like I was getting a fucking tattoo. It hurt so bad.
She's not a cat who, like, swipes or bites on purpose.
No.
It's simply she's playing and we are, what is it called? Collateral damage.
Yeah. So this is from R Unexplained. And it's called Strange Accident While Hiking and I Can't Shake Something. And I Can't Shake Something Happened. I was hiking at Gay City State Park in...
Sorry.
What are you laughing at?
Gay City.
I already laughed at that.
I know.
Oh. Anyway, let me start over. Strange accident while hiking and I can't shake something happened. I was hiking at Gay City State Park in CT, I think that's Connecticut, during spring a few years ago. My wife was pregnant, so I had gone by myself. I like to take my time and enjoy the outdoors/weather, so I was taking the longest outer circle you can. I think it's about 5 miles total. This is in the middle of the woods. I was about halfway through, and at this point in the trail, there's a downhill section that is all rocks, anywhere from soccer ball to yoga ball sized. They make up the entire downhill path, so you either have to walk on them or around them. I like running up hills and down the hills, so I started doing what I always did many times before, hopping from rock to rock down the hill. I was about halfway down the hill when I can't explain what happened to me. I missed a stone or something, but the next second, instead of eating shit, I was floating through the air. I remember seeing the ground moving under me like I was being carried through the air, then blackness. I woke up lying on my arm/stomach, miraculously in a space between all the stones Miraculously in a space between all the stones, just large enough for my body. My legs were behind me, resting on a stone. My shins had deep welts from where my legs had fallen on the stone behind me. I remember looking up at the hill in the space where I fell, then called my wife to tell her what had happened, and I was okay. No other part of me was hurt or injured in any way. I went back a couple of days later, and the strangest part, I scoured the same hill for the spot where I fell and could not find it. There was no space anywhere in the rocks for someone to fall like I did. I should have slammed my head into a bunch of rocks and either been... Oh my god, spam call. Get away from me. I should have slammed my head into a bunch of rocks and either been seriously injured or dead. I can't explain what happened, and it still shakes me thinking about it now. I'm wondering if this has anyone else has had an experience like this. And the first comment says, my father, now deceased from old age, told me this story. He was swimming under one of those floating decks in a lake when he tried to surface while under the deck. He swallowed water trying to breathe and started to drown when something picked him up by the back of his neck and put him on the deck. He was alone. This other comment says, this is quite an elaborate story for why you stayed so long at Gay Park. Another comment says, my mom told me a story one time about how she was driving by herself and started to turn to pull onto a highway. Something physically yanked the wheel out of her hand, and a truck barreled by that she hadn't seen was about to pull in front of. And then this is the last comment I'll read. This says, I have a few close calls in my life, and I have had a few close calls in my life, and there is a known phenomena, I guess, where you realize things are going to be bad. Our perception of time slows down. Things seem to move in slow motion, but only to the person who is about to eat it. In quotes, eat it. Quote unquote, eat it. It's very cool and seems to buy us time to react. I'm not saying this is what happened, but it might be a piece of it. Very cool though. Sounds like you might have had a friend keeping an eye on you. I thought I heard a dog. I was like, wait, we don't have a dog. You don't have a dog.
No, but I got that dog in me.
I'm unimpressed. Anyway.
All right, well then, friends, thank you for listening to this episode of Yapfest featuring Ben and Lola. If you want to catch future episodes, continue listening where you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to watch the video of this episode, past episodes, or future episodes, head over to our YouTube channel, Yapfest featuring Ben and Lola. If you would like to catch some funny clips, head over to our TikTok, yapfest.podcast. And if you'd like to see some more behind the scenes, what we're up to, and get the play-by-play of future episodes, check over our Instagram, yapfest.podcast.
Hell yeah, you sped the fuck through that. That was kind of impressive. Normally he takes 7 years to do it. Yeah, hopefully we get to record another episode while we're together, but if not, bye!